Hi everyone, I'm Louise from Nature's Balance, and I would like to talk to you today about your soul's purpose or the definition of your soul. And we are all going through quite a hard time. We're in week 2 of lockdown, and for some people more than others, it's really been very difficult. But I think it is important to realize that our soul is there to help keep us safe. It's actually there for survival. Its main purpose is for you to survive. Your soul's purpose is there for you to survive. And what I mean by saying that, we all have said or heard someone say that you have this little voice that told you not to do something or not to go somewhere or say something. And sometimes people listen to it, but more often than not, people say that after the fact when realizing they should have listened to it. And that actually happens to you all the time during the day. It's not something that's just there selectively, but the more open you are to your soul's intuition, the more aware you will become of your own soul. And the information that we download from our soul is by a way of perceiving. So your soul doesn't see things, it perceives things. And we get that information in the form of thoughts or sometimes images that you get, or even something that you might hear. But normally a lot of people would say they saw something in the back of their mind, or that they got a thought. And that information comes to you at the speed of light, and your responsibility is making sense of that and then obviously responding to that. But a lot of the times it does frighten us, and out of fear we tend to push it away and ignore the download of information that we receive. And I would like to give an example of that. I think because I am a dog trainer, I'm used to giving people examples with their dogs. I try to make it so that I can give them a human example, so that they can be in the dog's shoes and understand why the dog is behaving the way it is. And therefore I'm going to use myself as an example, where I decided not to listen to the information that I received from my soul. And recently, about 3 days ago, one of my horses that we got 2 years ago was in a stable, and I think it was on Sunday when it was getting a bit colder and we had some rain. And the evening I decided to put a fleece blanket on my one horse, because he used to get quite cold. He would actually shiver when the temperature starts to drop. And this evening I thought, he's gonna get cold. He doesn't really have a winter coat yet, and the temperatures are dropping at night, especially in the early morning. So I decided to blanket him. And as I was doing so, I got from him that he is not happy with me blanketing him, because I'm not putting blankets on the other 2 horses. But I normally don't, because they don't tend to get cold very easily. And I decided to ignore what I got from him, and I tried to remind him of when he first came here, how he used to get quite cold. He would actually sometimes even shiver, just with the slightest drop in temperature. And so he stood still, and I put the blanket on, and as I was going to leave his stable, there's a chain. I didn't close the door, I just hooked up the chain, and I was bending down to just go underneath it instead of hooking it loose. And as I was going down, I got this information again that I should be getting back up and actually back him up, because he was standing right next to me on the side. And I kind of knew what I'm doing now I shouldn't be doing. I should back him up first. And I decided, oh well, I'm already halfway through. I'm going to just continue going underneath. And as I thought that, I just felt this pain going through my arm from my shoulder, where he then bit me. And he didn't really, seriously injure me, although it's quite sore and bruised. But his intention wasn't to seriously injure me, otherwise he would have done so. But he was clearly saying, listen, I kindly asked you, and you chose to ignore me. And I realized that, and that was all on me. And I realized that I ignored my own intuition, my own download of information that my soul was giving me out of survival. And I also ignored, because I do animal communication, which works on the same principle as your soul giving information to you. It's also information coming to you at the speed of light, and you making sense of that. So I ignored both. And then I realized, okay, I need to go take his blanket off. So I obviously did. So I thought to share that little story with you, just to bring it home for you. And also, none of us are perfect, and we all do ignore what we shouldn't ignore at times. But the more aware you become of it, it's important not to be hard on yourself when you do find yourself that you didn't respond to it as you should have. Don't be hard on yourself. Be aware of it, and then next time you do better, and you actually then respond to the information that you get. I hope that gives you some insight. Like today, I had the insight that I should share this with you, and that's why I'm sharing this story. And I hope that it might bring some light to any one of you listening to this. And I hope you are all keeping safe and trying to be a bit creative, and not too stuck and stressed on the unknown. And creativity is not just for artists. We can all be creative, whether it's through baking or writing or working in the garden, whatever you find that keeps your mind to be a bit more creative. And your soul likes it when you are creative, so that's really important. And take some time to rest. You don't have to be busy all the time because you're feeling guilty. There's no need to feel any guilt. Take the time to rest, but also take some time to do things that you normally don't make the time for, and reflect and be creative. All right, I hope you stay safe and warm. I think we're going to have a cold Easter weekend, so be warm and stay safe. All right, bye-bye.